I know it's early. There's probably nobody going to be watching this time of day. But hey, maybe people will watch it on the replay, right? Anyway, I'm going to be inking some Master's End this morning. These are panels printed out from one of the pages on here, page 20 or 21. I'll probably just have the mic on mute. Nobody jumps into chat. But I'm just going to ink. Feel free to jump in and chat if you want. Hey, Brandon Rodriguez. Good to see you. No problem. I don't mind sharing the pages that I've got. Um, I got these photocopies sitting around. They've been sitting around forever, so somebody may as well get a look at them. Pardon me, I'm reaching around my desk here. Here we go. You always thought his influence showed up in my inks. Well, he has definitely been an influence on my stuff. Absolutely. Uh, I was stealing every little bit that I could manage to steal from Richard. I'm gonna do something different with that nose. Do a little of that while I'm at it too. And now I get to wait for that to dry and try not to stick my hand in it. Mm. Whatever happened to Brandon Choi? I'm not sure. Um, I don't know. I can't. I can't speak to anything about that. Um, Mainly because I was let go from Wildstorm before the sale to DC. Just before the sale to DC, because they didn't. You know, they did a firing of a lot of people at that point, canceling the titles and things like that, consolidating, getting ready for the sale. Um, so I'm not sure what happened to Brennan. I'm sure he went on to do something else. You know, I didn't know Brandon very well. Only spoke to him a few times. Seemed like a pretty nice guy. Oh yeah, they whenever you've got some sort of situation where one company is going to absorb another like that, there's always going to be a lot of rumbling around and things like this. And, you know, people don't think about it, but like, hey, if a company cancels, say, 5 books, well, back then that's you know 5 pencilers, 5 inkers, usually 5 writers, and colorists and letterers in there too. You know, you dump 5 books. That's a lot of people, pretty quick. But when the sales are imploding and everything else, you got to do what you got to do. Sorry, I got to get a drink here. David, Alicia, good morning. How you doing? Kind of surprised to see people here on a Monday morning. I thought I'd be the only one. Long time fan, comic fan. Oh, yeah? Fan of the old Wildstorm days? Oh, yeah? Some of these food note sakes? These are pretty good. I like these things. I found a few recently that I liked. I really hadn't done much in the way of any kind of analog inking in about 10 years up until recently. Um, I had put it down in favor of digital tools for a bit to explore that, but that doesn't seem to be what people on YouTube really want to see. So when I started trying to do a YouTube channel, um, people want to see analog inks, talk about analog ink stuff. I'm like, okay, well, I can still do some of that. Regular paper size Bristol. No, well, what I did here is Rob went ahead and laid this out as a full page. And what I've done is I've taken panels and created a printout so I can print it out in blue. And then what I'll do is go ahead and ink that, like I'm doing now, scan it back in and reassemble the page virtually in the digital space. All the blue lines will come out and that sort of thing. That's why I'm not doing the panel borders too. Trying to avoid the middle of his face because I'm not sure how dry the ink is over that white that I did. Early on. Oh, and you met Scott Williams, Greg Wright, Jim Lee was there, and McFarlane was getting mobbed. Sorry, I'm breathing on the mic. I don't know. It's either I'm breathing on the mic or people can't hear me. Um, is it better if I move it up? Here, you tell me. Okay. As long as you can still hear me and it doesn't sound like you're like down my throat, that's that's not good. Still getting the hang of this stuff. I've been through 3 or 4 cameras now and different software, bought new materials. So yeah, I'm testing out a lot of stuff lately. How did I get started at Image? Well, it kind of happened in spurts. Actually, I was sending out submissions. I would met J. Scott Campbell when he was still in the Denver area, and he was sending out submissions to Jim Lee, and got hired. And I thought, well, if they're looking for people that much, I bet I could, you know, maybe you could put in a word or something. Anyway, I sent some samples along, and I sent some uh, to Rob Liefeld's studio and to Jim Valentino. Anyway, Jim Lee didn't need any more people at that point, so they weren't hiring inkers. So I continued to submit around, and I got went to the Extreme Studios tour signing in like '93, and Rob Liefeld hired me there in front of J. Scott Campbell and a bunch of other people. And then, as it turned out, I guess he had wanted to expand and wasn't quite ready to expand that far yet because I called to take him up on the job, and he didn't have anywhere to put me. So after a little bit of back and forth, it just didn't wash out. And like, okay, well, that was kind of a bummer, but I wasn't going to let it, I took this as signs of encouragement. Like, well, hey, I'm getting some interest. And then Jim Valentino called and um, wanted me to ink a couple of pages tryout for a book called The Pact that Walter McDaniel was doing. And I inked some pages of Walter McDaniel's on vellum, and they looked terrible. Um, Jim was very nice, and he said I wasn't ready yet, and he was right. He was right to pass. So uh, I kept working and everything else, and then J. Scott Campbell called me up and told me that they were looking for inkers at Almond Studios again. So I put together a new batch of samples and sent them over there, and they liked what they saw. I I fooled them into giving me a shot, although I had zero idea what I was doing. Well, um, back then I was inking with a Hunt 102, but it gave similar results to like what I'm using here. The only reason why I stopped doing that is this does the same thing, and it's more convenient. And digital, you can do things like making your own brushes and all kinds of things that you can't do with analog mediums. Plus, you have a simulation of all sorts of different mediums that you can play with that are really pricey to start with. Oil painting isn't cheap, and there's a learning curve. Just because you can draw doesn't mean you're going to be able to kill it with oil painting by any stretch of the imagination. And they don't take it easy on you as far as cost goes for any of these mediums. So it's kind of nice to be able to go to a computer program and have like this whole art studio full of different mediums that you can explore, or at least simulations of those mediums. it definitely has its place. I think I was a purist for a long time, you know, but it just became impractical from a space consideration in my home to have a table and a big full studio and everything else. Yeah, see, art supplies are really, really, really expensive. Yeah, I have come on the Dave Finch channel before. I know Dave from back in the day. You know, I met Dave Finch. It was early. I went, maybe '94 or early '95, something like that. I know one of the first San Diego Comic Cons that I ever went to. I was hanging out with Dave Finch and Joe Benitez, and uh, I there were a few people there. Goofing off and laughing and stuff. Just young and enjoying being in the business and being in San Diego. It's pretty cool. Joe Benitez, yes, Joe Benitez is still killing it. I'm not surprised. He was on somebody's live stream the other day, and on Joe Sontag's channel, and they had Joe on as a guest. I was lurking in the chat just so that I could say hey to Joe. I hadn't talked to Joe in so long. Yeah, yeah, Joe Sontag. That guy puts on a pretty good show over there. Pretty good artist too. Well, I've got the blue Chuck Lee. I've got the blue and the black. They came in a set, and actually, I kind of like both of them. Uh, the blue's more of a fine line pen, and this gives more of a brushier sort of feel. They're both similar to each other, but I ordered a bunch of the blue in bulk, so I'm using those and kind of trying to save that other one. I probably will get a bulk supply of those later too. But right now, for most of the stuff that I can do with that black one, I can just pull out my Pentel brush pen. So the inkers and artists that inspired me, I really got into uh, drawing when I was a kid as a result of looking at John Burns stuff. That really appealed to me quite a bit. Most of the usual suspects of the 80s were people whose art those I'll still slip into it pretty often where I'm like, oh, I'm trying to do that again. I don't really try for it anymore, and I don't really avoid it either. So, um, not digging that hair with this pen. Um, let's see. There we go. Yeah, I agree. Byrne was the first guy to really make Wolverine popular. Cockrum seemed like he was more interested in Nightcrawler. Is who he seemed to have an affection for. Am I coming back as a penciler slash inker this time around? Uh, Chuck Lee, I don't really know. You know, um, I'm just sort of finding a spot where I can do something to me. You know, really more of a hobby to me at this point. I may do something at some point soon, just to kick the tires, see what's left. Um, but I'm not sure what it'll be yet. It's still in development. At this point, I'm open. I will say at this point, I prefer not to. I prefer to do stuff more myself. You know, working like this with Rob is cool, but I can't see working for a company really again. I don't know. I never say never though. Sorry, I'm having a hard time reading because of the glare from this this light, this beam of light. And of course, I can never just remember, right? Like, which one is the blue pen again? Is that the hard tip pen or the soft tip pen? Hey, thanks, David Alicia. I appreciate that. James Heron and Daniel Warren Johnson. I'm not familiar with either one. I just don't follow this stuff like I used to. It's gotten, I don't know. It just doesn't appeal to me. I had a friend tell me once, a guy I knew that has since passed away, that he was a longtime comic reader. And he used to tell me that you really only need to read maybe 5, 7 years of any particular title any particular character. And then at that point, you've pretty much read everything they can think of to do with that character. And I find that to be accurate very often. So, with a lot of these storylines that I hear about people trying to do today, I just think to myself, well, it's probably something that I've seen done before, and it's probably something that I've seen done before better. Now, I don't know. Hard to say sight unseen. I don't know. I just figure I've seen the best of it. The stuff that I hear about sounds questionable. An independent artist who's working on Transformers into the beta rebuild book and Wonder Woman as well. Hmm. Well, I may have to investigate. Maybe I'm missing out on a good thing, you know? Stranger things have happened, that's for sure. Hmm. I got this panel done, I think. Okay. I better stop there and leave that panel alone. Hmm. Let's see. Use this black ink sticking up onto your line, I think. Oh, there's my dog. It's a live show, you know. Okay, guys. Well, I've been live streaming for about an hour. I think I'm gonna take a little break. So leaning over this TV tray to ink, and I need a break every once in a while from it. So I think I'm gonna knock off here for a little bit. Grab a little breakfast. But if the connection will allow it, I may be back a little later on this afternoon after lunch. So, but for those who stopped by, Chuck Lee, David Alicia, I appreciate it. Everybody else who stopped by, I don't know if there's anybody else out there lurking that I missed, but thanks for stopping by. I sure appreciate it. And that's it for now. Thanks. Bye.